Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Wow, very distinct perspectives coming from the different witnesses that we have here today. But one of the things that I want to make sure that I point out, this is an official hearing of the United States Congress Energy and Commerce Committee to talk about issues that are facing us as a nation, literally happening today. And on my way over here today, I remembered what I was taught as a child and how the information that I believed for too many years of my life, because I trusted the sources, were actually wrong. I was told that the reason why the buffalo almost became extinct across this great nation was because people wanted them for their pelts. Well, they did want them for their pelts. But really what was going on at the root of that was they said, how can we get rid of Native Americans and starve them out? Well, let's take the thing that they need the most, the buffalo, to use it for food, for clothing, for shelter, etc. And that was a way to starve them out. So I believe that when you step back and look at history and you actually get an honest perspective of what happened, then you really understand why the buffalo almost became extinct. And also it was part of a genocide process against people who lived in these lands far longer than most of us and our relatives lived. I mentioned that in the context of, like I said earlier, different perspectives talking about the same issues. When it comes to fentanyl, when it comes to opioid addictions, when it comes to the crisis that we have in the United States of America, one of the things we speak very little about in this committee or in Congress is how some American individuals and American companies have actually contributed far more to this crisis than perhaps people with backpacks crossing our border. For example, when you look at the Sackler family, they were punished a bit, but when you really look at the truth is they got away with creating a crisis that came to 10,000 or more deaths a year. Now we're looking at the latest numbers at 100,000 or more in our great nation. These are the kinds of things that I'm hoping in this committee will do, is to make sure that we get an honest perspective on the record about what the real issues are and the real ways in which we can actually create solutions to make sure that we improve the lives and the conditions and the safety of the American citizen and in every community across our country. One of the things that I wanted to ask you, Ms. Garza, is when it comes to using punitive responses to the opioid crisis that we have in our country, the fentanyl crisis, is being punitive the answer, or are there other solutions?
We need to have a holistic approach. Look, the opioid crisis is very real. We need to approach it as a public health issue because it is. And so we need to provide treatments to people that are addicted. And once we do that, once we address that root issue, we're going to stop the demand for these drugs and we'll prevent deaths. I mean, people are losing their families, their parents, their children, and we need to take that as a real thing and separate it from what we're doing here today. This is I don't understand why we're here at the border, because there is really no connection between what is happening with the opioid crisis in this country and immigrants that are just seeking refuge in our country, that are seeking protection.
Yes, thank you. And many people who come to our border, Ms. Garza, that you're familiar with, are they seeking asylum?
The vast majority of people that I have encountered, and I started off as an immigration attorney. I'm a border native. I have been here for years. I have been here through several administrations practicing immigration law. I've represented hundreds of children and families. The vast majority of people that are coming here are fleeing very horrific experiences in their home country. And if we want to address migration, if we want to stem the flow of migration, we need to build up the rule of law in foreign countries. We need to ensure that we are protecting people in their home countries and ensuring they feel they can stay in their home country and not go on this perilous journey into the United States.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Garza. My time having expired, I yield back, Mr. Chairman.